Welcome all friends, masters to the book club of Pyramid Meditation Foundation UK. A warm welcome to everybody. So today to join us, Master Sharoo Shahni is with us. I will introduce herself. Journey of a Woman Behind Spiritual Aloha. Sharoo is a third-day master and was born with the intuitions of spiritual healing. Her life dramatically changed when she started meditating in year 2011 and intuitively started connecting with the angels and the angelic realm. It seemed like the entire universe was guiding her towards the path of spiritual healing. Somewhat confused, lost, and embroiled with a lot of challenges, she suddenly found herself amidst this beautiful divine world. It was an angelic voice which connected with her and asked her to tell people about angels. She spent countless hours meditating, reading, and talking to the angels, and gradually started taking sessions on a myriad of spiritual topics, angels being her favorite. And with this, I would like to request Master Sharoo, please start session today on sequence of death. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Really grateful to the UK team. I remember those days when I used to take the session for Manchester group, and everybody used to be so enthusiastic as far as the sessions are concerned. So I'm really glad to come back here in the UK group again and taking the session again. And special gratitude to Rajshekhar sir, who actually gave me this opportunity. He connected with me and he said that, why don't you take a session, for our family. I said, yeah, of course, I'm going to do that. So I'm here with this UK family and I'm going to take this session on sequence of death. But before I do that, I would love to share you the story behind why I chose this topic, because another thing, the angels are always involved, whatever I do, whatever I say. So what happened was when Rajshekhar sir told me that I have to take a session, I was just trying to understand which session should I take. So I zeroed down certain sessions also that, okay, I'm going to speak about this, I'm going to speak about that, but there was no connection that was happening to me with those sessions. So what happened was I started meditating. I asked the angels that, angels, what is it that you want me to give them? What is it? Now, when I was meditating, there was a very clear vision that I received. And the vision was, on my left-hand side, there was a picture of, there was pre-birth planning that was happening. Okay. There was a picture where the pre-birth planning was happening and there was a blank in between. And in the right-hand side of me, there was the after death, the journey after death. And where I saw Madhugaru was there, who was taking the session on enlightenment on no death, that way. And Patriji was also there. So what happened was there was a blank in between. And now I had to fill that blank. I could not understand what the angels were telling me to do because they were showing me pre-birth planning. They were showing me the afterlife snippets also. Now, what is in between that, blank? So for 3 days, I was not able to decode the message. And I was requesting them, please tell me what exactly do you want me to give them? So they were not ready to tell me because they never give me anything on the platter. So it's just like, there is a deep ocean. They will just, push me in the ocean and they will say, go and swim yourself, that kind of a thing. So I again meditated and I just was meditating on the same thought, but please tell me what is it? On the 4th day, that was the time when I realized what were they trying to tell me. So they told me that pre-birth planning sessions have been given and people have the information. or no death sessions or the afterlife sessions are happening throughout the universe, and people know so much about afterlife, people are experiencing. What about in between? What about how we come out of our physical body, how we disembody ourselves? Nobody has thought about that. That session has not been taken till now. People need to know that how we leave our body. What is the sequence of leaving our body? Because unless and until that information is also there, the information is not going to be complete. Pre-birth planning, then how do we disembody and then the afterlife starts? So that was the reason why I came up with this session. And when I started working on this session, that, okay, this is what they wanted to say. And then I validated it through the oracle, and I asked them that this is something that I have decoded. Is this the right message that I'm getting from you? And then there was a message from them that, yes, this is what it is. And that was how I orchestrated this session, and this is how I brought this session here. So this is the lovely story that I wanted to share with all of you, because I was very excited, because my life has every time, every moment is with the angels, nothing else. All my sessions are being inspired by them. So I hope you're going to enjoy this session that I have brought today. To tell you frankly, this is my perspective about the session, about the particular subject. So I'm not saying that you have to resonate with it. But if you do, I'll be really glad. This is just the information that I'm giving you. So in case if you want to dig in further, as far as this subject is concerned, you are most welcome. So let's start with the session, the sequence of death. It's going to be a wonderful session. I know that. So thank you, angels, for being here with me always 24/7. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this session. Thank you. Shukriya. So let's start with the sequence of death. Now, the question is, it is very important for us to understand that how we disembody ourselves, how we get out of our body. But in order to understand how we leave our body, it is very important for us to know that there are certain vital pranas, that are the vital energies that are there inside our body, which are helping us out in our day-to-day activities. And how they recede is how we leave our physical body. So first of all, I'm going to tell you and talk to you about these pancha pranas, or these 5 vital energies that are there in your body, in everybody's body. Yeah. So the first prana that we are going to talk about, or the first energy that we are going to talk about, is samana energy. That is samana prana or samana vayu. Now, when we talk about samana vayu or samana prana or energy, what does it do? So it happens that, samana prana is responsible for our temperature control. Now, you might have seen so many yogis, so many sages in the Himalayas. They go there, they sit there, and they do not wear much of the clothing. In fact, they walk barefoot on the sub-zero temperature also. You might have noticed that, or probably you might have seen any documentary or something like that, that the yogis or the saints and the sages, they're sitting there in the sub-zero temperature and they don't wear much clothes. They just walk barefoot. How do they do that, guys? It's like because their samana vayu or samana energy is activated. So what happens when we start meditating? When there's a lot of meditation that is happening in our body, in our day-to-day life, what happens is that the samana vayu gets, activated, and we create a cocoon of energy, our energy outside us. And when that ball of energy is created by our own energy and the energy of the divine, what happens? Any external, any external influences are not able to bother us. So anything that is hot, anything that is cold, it is not going to bother us anymore. So our body becomes very immune. So can you see how and what meditation or yoga can do to you? it can really activate your samana vayu. It can activate it can regulate the temperature of your body. And when your temperature of your body is regulated, anything, everything, nothing can actually, you can say, affect you or affect your physical body. Then samana vayu, interestingly, is also very healing in nature. So the person who has a samana vayu, a samana prana or energy activated, that person is going to have a very healing presence. So you might have noticed this also, that there are few people, for example, Patriji is there. Whenever Patriji walks around, his presence is so healing that he can heal people through just his presence. I don't know whether you have noticed or not, but next time, whenever you meet Patriji, just try to see that how, whenever he walks around, the atmosphere, the at least, whatever, wherever he's walking around, it just goes pure. It is all because when the samana vayu, or the energy, is very activated, and it keeps happening when we start meditating more and more and more and more. Interestingly, samana vayu is also responsible for our digestion process. How? Because if the samana vayu is activated in our body, what happens is that we are able to empty our stomach very easily. So interestingly, what happened was when I started meditating in 2011, I didn't know anything of these sorts. I didn't know, and I didn't have any information. So what happened was, because there were so many changes physically that were coming inside of me after I started meditation, this was also one of the changes. My metabolism was increasing every day. And what I believed and what I felt was, whenever I used to eat something, after 1.5 hours, I used to empty my stomach. So I used to say, is there any problem with my digestion process? Because even my husband used to say that, what is wrong with you? I think there is some issue health-wise. But today, when you ask me, it was all because my samana vayu was getting activated, that prana, that energy was getting activated due to a lot of meditation. And that is the reason why my digestion process was also getting changed. It was improving. And the more the digestion process is good, the more your thinking ability is fine. I don't know whether you have, probably you might have listened to Patriji, and Patriji always says that don't keep your stomach full. Just eat only 70 to 80% of your stomach full, and rest, just keep it empty. It is all because of that, because he also knows that the less we eat, whatever is required for the body, if we eat that is absolutely fine enough. Because if we do that more, there will be a lot of trouble inside our digestion process. And it will also hinder samana prana. So second aspect of the prana or the energy that we are talking about is prana vayu. So when we talk about prana vayu is very much associated with our breathing and thought process. That is also there in our body. This is the second aspect of prana or the energy, that is the prana vayu. So when we talk about the prana vayu, what happens is the thought and the respiratory system, they are most connected. So you might have seen every thought that you get, your breathing changes. If you have not noticed it, start noticing it. With every thought, your breathing changes. For example, if you're just thinking about a stressful situation, what will happen? Your breathing will increase. It'll go faster, faster, faster. If you're stressed, you will go faster. But if you're thinking about the oceans, if you're thinking about water, if you're thinking about the nature, the breathing will come back to its normal self. It'll just be beautiful the way it is. So that is the prana vayu, and prana vayu regulates our thought process. That is why breathing, the breath, is very important for us, because breath is one of the most vital energies that we have today inside our body. And that is why we meditate, and that is why this Anapanasati meditation is there, which helps us to observe our breath, to be with our breath, which is one of the most vital energies that are present in us, in our body. Next of the prana is called the Vyana Vayu, or it is also called the Vyana Prana. And when we talk about, not the Vyana Prana, it is the fifth one, that is the Udana Vayu. The third one is the Udana Vayu. And when we talk about the Udana Prana, Udana means to fly. Or in Hindi, it is called Udan. But in Sanskrit, it's called Udan. And in English, it means to fly. So when through the meditation, when we start activating Udana Prana, what happens during that time? We start feeling very light. Even if people who are not meditating, they still have Udana Prana in them. For example, if you are weighing about 70 or 80 kgs, you're weighing so much, but still you are not able to feel that weight, can you? Even if the person is 100 kgs, they will not be able to feel their weight that way. So what happens is when this Udana Vayu is getting activated in your body, you will be less and less available for the gravity. You will not feel that weight at all. Even if you're 120 kilos, you will not feel that weight because your Udana Vayu is activated. If you have seen the martial art experts, if you have seen the ballet dancers, if you have seen the sages who levitate, if you have seen all these people, then you will know how can they do that? It is because their Udana Vayu is very high. That prana is very high, that energy is very high, and that is the reason why they can float in the air. So that is the third one. That is the third aspect of the energy that we have in our body. Why I'm telling about this energy is, one, you should get the information about these energies. Secondly, it is very important during the death process, because during the death, all these energies, they start receding. Udana Vayu is also responsible for the communication skills. And since Udana Vayu is very much connected to the moon, that is why it is very much higher in the females. And that is the reason why females can express more as compared to the men. Because in the females, the Udana Vayu is very high from the very beginning itself, because Udana Vayu is related to the moon, and moon is related to the emotions, to the expression, to the communication. So that is why the ladies can yap, and express, and men can be just, they can just sit still. That is the reason why it happens. Because from the very beginning itself, the Udana Vayu in us is very activated. And what happens is when we start meditating, it just goes more higher. It gets activated more. Yeah? Okay, so next, that is the fourth one, is the Apana Vayu. That is the Apana energy. That is also very important, because it is responsible for the excretory system, and it is very responsible for our sensory function to function properly and normally. So that is the Apana Prana. So how is the excretory system connected to the sensory perception? Is that the more the excretory system is efficient, the more your sensory perception is going to be good. And I'm not talking about excretion as the outcome of the digestion here. I'm just talking about, the excretion on the cellular level, because every moment the cells are pushing the impurities out of our body. And what happens if we are ingesting non-vegetarian food? If we are ingesting something that our body should not, should not eat, what will happen is it will just be there in our digestion. And what will happen? It will not be excreted. It will not be taken out. And what will happen is the digestion process will keep moving, keep going, keep moving. Yeah. And once it is happening, we will become more lethargic. There will be an inertia, because our digestion process is 24/7. It is just working hard. And that is the reason also Patriji always says vegetarian food is very important. We have to have vegetarian food, because it takes lesser time, and it does not put a lot of force or on the pressure on the digestion process. So in that way, our apana vayu also is getting activated. So apana vayu, basically you can say it cleanses the system in a way, which is very, very, very important prana in us. Yeah. Last but not the least is our vyana vayu or vyana prana. Yeah. So now vyana prana is what? It basically is the one that knits all the cells in one organism. And vyana vayu is very preservative in nature, very preservative. So that is the reason I'm going to tell you one simple fact. And if you want to see the internet, if you want to, just see the documentaries on the videos, you can see also those that as far as the Himalayan monks are concerned, the Tibetan monks, especially the Tibetan monks, what they used to do was after the death, their body never used to decay for 2 months. You know how? Because they used to leave that Vyana Vayu, a little portion of the Vyana Vayu in the body. They used to let that Vyana Vayu or Vyana Prana be there in that body. And because of that, for so many months, the body of those monks never used to decay. That is how powerful that Vyana Vayu is, because that is very preservative in nature. And I suppose in Egypt, when we talk about the Giza pyramids, when we talk about the mummies over there, probably it is because of the Vyana Vayu or Vyana energy or Vyana Prana, because of the presence of that, because of that, plus the chemicals and other things, that they are able to, preserve the bodies. So, friends, these were the 5 energies that we have inside of us. Can you see how powerful our bodies are? Can you understand how powerful our energies are? But I don't think so. We have ever given so much of emphasis on these things, on the energies that we have. And we can regulate these energies through meditation. That is the best part, that through meditation, we can do anything and everything. We can activate them. We can increase the power of these pranas. Now, during the death process, what happens? We generally feel and see that, okay, the death is happening within seconds and we just stop breathing and we leave the body. So friends, this is not the way it happens. I'm going to tell you what is the process of death. What is the sequence of death? And this receding of prana can be different with different individuals. If I'm telling you about the sequence, doesn't mean that it has to happen in that sequence itself. It can happen in a different way altogether. But I'm just giving you a sequence right now, the understanding of my, the subject. So the first prana that goes is the Saman Vayu. That is the first prana that recedes from our body. That is the first step. And you might have also seen that once, we stop breathing, what happens is after half an hour, the body starts getting cold. You might have noticed that. It is because the Samana Vayu is receding from your body, and it starts happening after the person stopped breathing after half an hour, 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time. It starts going out. And that is why it becomes very cold, because the Samana Vayu has receded. It is the first Vayu that actually recedes from our body. Then Prana Vayu is there. That is the prana energy that recedes. Now, how the prana energy recedes is, it starts exiting the body. And when it starts exiting, our respiratory action and our thought process, it also dulls down. It starts depleting. We are not able to think. We are not able to breathe properly. The respiratory and the thought process, both of them decreases. As I said, that thought is very much related to the respiration. So when the thoughts are not there, the respiration comes down. And when the when the breath starts receding, the thought goes down. When the thought goes down, the respiration automatically comes down. So it basically takes about 60 to 90 minutes of our death, of our breathing, of not our death, but when we are declared dead, that, within the 60 to 90 minutes, it starts receding. Now, the 60 to 90 minutes also, why I'm saying is that if we die a natural death or a normal death or a death from an old age, then it can take 60 minutes. But if it is a death from an accident, or it's a vibrant body, or a youth, or a young body who has who has just died because of certain accident or some trauma, then it's going to take about 90 minutes for that prana that is the prana vayu to recede from the body. That is the second stage. The third stage is udana vayu. The third stage, that is the breathing. The third step is when udana starts receding, and it recedes between 6 to 12 hours of our when our breathing stops. Now, when the udana vayu goes, you might have noticed that after some time, 6 to 12 hours, the body starts becoming very heavy. If you have picked up any dead body, if you might have in your life, if you have picked up a body, you might have felt that, oh my God, the weight of the body is so much. That person never weighted so much. It is not that the weight is increasing. It is because udana is receding. That udana prana is going out of the body, and that is why our body is now very heavy, because now it is more and more available to the gravity. So it becomes very heavier. It goes heavier. So that is the udana vayu that starts receding. Then comes the apana vayu, or the apana energy. So it takes about apana energy to recede from 8 to 18 hours for it, once our breathing stops. So what happens is 8 to 18 hours, because for some bodies, it takes longer period. As I said, the younger bodies, they take longer period for the pranas to recede from the body. So what happens is, you might have seen that even the breathing has stopped, which I noticed in my grandmother's body also, that, even if her breathing had stopped, she was still on the bed, on the hospital bed, but still there were sensory perceptions, in the sense her finger was moving. So the sensory perception is still there. So that finger is going to move, or the toe finger is going to move, or there is a kind of a twitch in the body. So you don't have to get scared that what happened, she's dead and how can she move? It is not that. It is that slowly and gradually the apana is receding, but during that interval, during that particular period of time, between the 8 to 18 hours, that sensory perception is still there, and that you can still feel the movement in the body. So that is the apana that we are talking about. And then last but not the least is the vyana vayu. That is the vyana energy or vyana prana that recedes from our body. Since it is preservative in nature, it is slowest to exit. It is very slow. So you can say it can take about 11 to 14 days in some bodies, and it can take even 90 days in some bodies to recede. That is why we can say that if we are doing and if we are taking care of the body well, we can preserve the body if that person has been meditating, if the person has has that kind of energy and control over those energies. That person can even leave the body with some of the vyana in it, so that the body can be preserved for a much longer time. But just because we do not have those capabilities yet, and there are people who do not meditate, they are not into meditation. So what happens is, that is why the vyana vayu starts receding very quickly, although it is the last to exit, but it starts receding very quickly in them. And that is why you feel that smell, you feel that that it turns black. The body starts turning black after 3-4 days. So that is the process of death. That is how we embody ourselves. This is how the soul goes. It is, trust me, friends, it is not a very easy journey for the soul to exit the body. The soul also has to do a lot of work, because leaving slowly and gradually, leaving these pranas also make a lot of difference. How the prana is going, how the energies are receding, how they are exiting. So that is why it is very important that when the dead is there in front of us, we must meditate. Rather than crying and grieving, we have to meditate there for some time, because at that time also the body, that the soul is listening to you. The soul is still there. Till that complete procedure, the soul is still listening to you. The soul is, listening to the emotions that you're going through, everything that your grievance, your emotions, your feelings, everything that, the person can feel. Even if the person is dead, the breathing has stopped, but still those feelings are still there. So you have to keep that atmosphere, that climate very nice, cool, fragrant. You can just have beautiful thoughts for that person. You can just give a lot of love energies to that person at that particular time. Yes, we are grieving, but grievance should not let the person know that, okay, hey, you're dead and I'm crying here. No. Yes, you are on some other journey, and we have to help that person in that journey, because the soul is just leaving. It is also very difficult for the soul also to leave, because the energies are receding, and it is very difficult at that time. The body becomes very confused that what is happening. So you have to be very, very careful, and you have to be very compassionate towards the person who is going now to the other dimension. So that was something that I wanted to share with all of you. So I hope the information that I shared was informative. And if you want to read more about this, I don't know where to read, because whatever I read, it was all through the internet, certain articles. Then, then I tried to understand it through the experiences that I had in these years. And so I formulated this subject and the topic. So if you want to dig in more, you're most welcome. So any questions or anything you want to talk about or say, so I'd be really glad. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharoo-ji. It's so much information. The 5 points mentioned initially are really giving us understanding of body systems. And while leaving, you explained very clearly that how this transition is so painful, and how to help the soul. So what happens if people meditate around, and what way it will help, like technically, for the soul?
Okay, so what happens is, suppose, for example, we are meditating. Yeah, soul is right now very anxious, because soul is getting disembodied from the body. It is in a very confused state. And on the other hand, the soul is seeing all of you crying. Yeah, the soul is seeing that everybody is in a tizzy, in an anxious state. So the soul will get more anxious. But if you're meditating at that very moment, when you're calm, so it will be very easier for the soul also to leave the body, because now the soul feels that, yeah, everything is calm here. The acceptance is here. So once this kind of a feeling starts getting inside, what will happen? The soul will be able to, take the next step forward, the journey forward. Otherwise, they will keep sticking there that, okay, I'm anxious, they're anxious, I can't leave my body. I can't go anywhere. On the other hand, the soul also wants to be one with the source. The soul wants to go there. So the source will be, the soul will be in a confused state. And we don't want to do that. We don't want the soul to be confused. We want that the soul should be happily leaving for the another journey, the other destination. So that is how the difference is when we are meditating and when we are not meditating during that period of time.
Thank you. So first of all, masters, anybody have questions, please raise your hand, or raise your hand. I can call you out. In the meanwhile, Archana from, I think, US, she can't too late at night. Just a question. The body seems heavy comparatively, even when we are asleep or unconsciousness. Does it have something related to eye?
Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you a very scientific reason. So every night for 30 minutes, we astrally travel somewhere. Every night during our dream time, we do astral traveling. Everybody, just not one person, but everybody. Some people get to know, some people don't get to know. So what happens when our soul is leaving for that 30 minutes, when our soul is leaving the body, at that particular time, our body will be very, very heavy. Because Vyanavayu, it's not receding. It's just that the soul is going out and it's coming in. And you will not come to know, because it can be 30 minutes, it can be 1 hour. It depends upon the soul for how long the soul is out. And moreover, at that time, all the energies, they are activated. That is okay. But they are not working so vigorously because we are not awake. We are sleeping. That is why we feel heavy at that time. Yeah. I hope I answered the question, Rachana.
Yes, Sharoo. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
sorry,
thank you.
not that much.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Absolutely, Rachana. Thank you. So, anyone else wants to say, talk, share anything?
Yeah, Amita. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, Sharoo. Amita.
Hi. Yeah, hi, Amita. How are you?
Yeah, okay. So again, the same question again and again. So, so when a soul leaves the body suddenly, so does it know it is leaving, or is it like, how does it happen?
It is completely, the soul is completely aware if it is not an unnatural, unless and until it's an unnatural death. Unnatural death means accident, suicide.
But in the natural death, like what happened, it was so sudden. So does the person know that he's leaving before?
Yes. In fact, even there have been instances also that the soul already knows, and 2 or 3 days before the death, they get that intuitively, they get that vision that now, the soul is going to leave the body. So it starts giving the messages also that they will no longer be there. In some cases, I'm not saying that it is going to happen with everybody, but in some cases, yes, people intuitively get to also know that they are going to leave. And that is why what happens is that, they start giving messages to their relatives. They start meeting them. If you have seen that, they start calling for their children, that I want to see the face of my child. I want to see the face of my family or my friend, because that intuition is there that is telling them to meet with them and say final goodbyes.
This happened with my second cousin who died of COVID. I mean, he really suffered, and he came down from the US, met all the relatives, and even met my parents, and took photographs, and it was like you said, it is something like a sort of a goodbye.
Yes.
But like what happened in my husband's case was, there was nothing like that. Nothing, I mean, like it is just like he was there 1 minute and gone the next. And
Yes.
if he had any intuitions or anything, he didn't say anything. He didn't discuss. I mean, there's nothing of that kind. So that's what it is, in a very, very confused state. I mean, like how, or maybe if he got a messages, he ignored it or didn't pay attention. I mean, it's very baffling.
Mm.
Nothing adds up as such.
I do understand, Amitaji, because I know these things really baffle us. But probably, as you said, that he might have ignored the message, even if he was getting the messages. Probably he ignored those messages, or maybe he did not get any message. Because, as I said, not everybody gets to know that. People who are very intuitively, whose intuition is very heightened, they get the messages. Or otherwise, also, if the source feels that okay, the message has to be given so that the person meets whomsoever the person wants to meet, which is important for that soul to meet before he or she dies, so that their karma is balanced and released, then that person also gets to know. So maybe in your husband's case, it was not something that had to be done, and he was going through a very, you can say, when you talk to me about that, it was a very calm death. It was not something where he suffered, that way, so it was like a calming death. There was no need, because he loved all of you, your daughters, everybody. He loved so much. He had given so much of love to everybody, and he had done his task of giving so much of love. Same happened with my dad as well. So these people do not require any kind of an intuition. They have to go. That means they have to go because it is something that they had decided. Yeah.
So they have decided consciously. I mean, how is this decision made?
Yes. Yes, Amita, because when we talk about the pre-birth plannings, in pre-birth plannings, everything is very crystal clear, and the angels are there to guide us that this is the time when you have to leave the body. Because, everything is being taken care of, everything is being thought about, well thought about. And then only the death and the life, it is being decided by the soul that this is the time when I'm going to go and take birth, and this is the time I'm going to leave the body. So these are the conscious decisions, which is that the memory of these decisions are not with us, because we have to learn the lessons. We can't come with those memories of that pre-birth planning. That is why we get very baffled. I just have seen, my friend's son. He was just sitting. He was studying. He was just 15, and he had a heart attack. He had a stroke, and he just left the body. So it was so baffling for the parents. Can you just see the intensity at that time? I mean, they were not able to understand. He was not sick. He was studying. It was just that in just 2 minutes, he had a stroke and he left the body. His breathing stopped.
I think there's some mysteries of the universe which you will never understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
I think, we can search for answers, but we'll always be searching. Thank you, Sharoo.
Thank you. Thank you, Amita. Thank you. Love you loads, Amita. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
So much.
Yes, Meena.
Hi, Sharoo. That's so beautifully put together. And I know it's a difficult topic. Not everyone will be okay to listen early in the morning or okay to share. But I have a question for you, Sharoo. Can you tell about some earthbound souls? Why they are earthbound, and will they decide themselves to stay here, or will they leave upon them? And one more question is, a continuation is, how long now today think I am dead today, and how long again I will take rebirth? Is it depends on the soul? Like soul wish that I'll be reborn in the same family. Some, like my grandmother passed away when I'm pregnant, and everyone said, okay, your grandmother will be reborn again. Is that true? Or yeah, can you please explain on that?
No. So that is also one of the myths that we always have, that as soon as we leave the body here, in another month or in another 10 days, we are going to take birth. So it doesn't happen that way. If you ask me, my maternal grandfather, so he died 35 years ago. Okay, but he took the birth when my dad left his body, and he became my guardian angel. He became, my spirit guide. So my maternal granddad, he gave the responsibility to my dad, and that was the time when my maternal granddad, he took the birth. Now, today, if you ask me, my dad, it's been 3 years. In January, 3 years, he will complete 3 years, and he has not still taken birth. So, what my dad has also told me is that it takes little time for the soul to heal. There are few souls who are in a hurry to take birth because they want to release and balance their karmas as soon as possible. But it doesn't happen that way because the angels are constantly trying to tell them and guide them properly that what is the right way of doing it. So when they get to know that, then they relax, they heal. And after the healing process, then they decide when they have to take birth. So it doesn't happen in a jiffy. It doesn't happen that way. Yeah. And about the second question, Meena, that is the Earthbound Souls. So when we talk about Earthbound Souls, I have worked with one of such soul because she had committed suicide, and she was very beautiful soul, and she was just in her 16, and when she had left the body. And just because the parents were grieving and the parents were not able to accept the death of their daughter, what happened was that she kept continuously sitting there besides that study table where she used to spend most of the time in her room. So she was not ready to go. And the angels were telling me that she needs to see the light, and you have to tell her, because what happens is that usually angels never tell me to do all these things. They never tell me to interfere into the lives after the death, in that realm or dimension. But there are certain souls which need to be helped, which need to see the light. And she was the one of the persons who needed to see that light. So what happened was, these earthbound souls are very innocent because they're so confused. They don't know where to go. They want to go there in that dimension, but they can't leave the people also whom they love, especially people who have gone through a sudden death, like an accident or a trauma or a suicide, because they don't understand that how can they disembody themselves? How can they die? They have so much work to do. How can they die? And she was just 16. She was confused because she didn't know what to do. She thought that maybe, she had taken a very bad step. So it took me took me a long time to convince her, to make her understand certain things. And that was the time when she saw the light. It was, everyday conversation with her that was happening. And at last, she just showed me a diary, and she told me that please tell my parents to read that diary so that they know that what I thought about them and, why I chose this path. And when the parents accepted it, that was the time she came to me and she said, now I'm leaving. I'm ready to leave Sharoo. So that was the time she left. So the earthbound spirits are also the ones who are very confused, very hurt. They are in so much of pain and the suffering, I cannot even tell you. They are suffering. And they're beautiful souls. The only thing is that, there are certain souls that are very rigid because their nature is very rigid. They are very stubborn because of their nature. So what happens is the same thing is during the soul level, because they have not disconnected themselves from their bodies. So that rigidity, that stubbornness is still there. That you can say that dominating nature is still there. If the person has been dominating people in the physical life, that person is going to again dominate. The person will think, no, I am the one. So they become very stubborn, they become very rigid. So it becomes very difficult for them to understand that they have to see the light. Although they are confused, they want to. So earthbound spirits are also very beautiful souls, but they have lost their way. And we have to, sometimes when I get the information from the angels, I bring these souls on the right path. But I don't dwell much because the angels told me, no, don't unless and until it's an emergency.
Thank you, Sharoo.
Thank you.
And one last question. If we are materially attached to material things, or if we are emotionally attached to someone, do we become earthbound souls?
Do you become a earthbound soul if you're attached to materialistically something? So obviously, see, it depends again that how much attachment do you have with that particular thing. So probably it is not necessary that you're going to be earthbound. It is not necessary because it is a material thing. So probably, if the angels are telling you, maybe they will convince you and that you will go to the other dimension. So it is not necessary. It all depends upon the state of mind of the soul, the way the soul leaves the body. What are the thoughts at that time? If the thought of that soul during the death is like, I cannot leave my bangles there in the cupboard. I want those bangles. So that thought is going to go with the soul. So in the next incarnation, probably again she has something to do with that. Something to do with the jewelry or materialistic. That person will be very greedy. The person will be, will never be able to help other people. So not necessarily that you will become earthbound, but yes, in the next incarnation, you will have to balance and release these feelings and emotions. You have to work on them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more
Thank you.
last. I heard from Dr. Newton, sir, that we need to break the pattern regularly, or else you'll stick to earth, coming back and doing the same routine every day. Can you please explain that? That's the last question. Thank you.
The patterns that you're talking about, right? So,
Yeah.
okay. So what happens is, I'll give you one very simple example. This example of forgiveness. Yeah. People do something, or people have consciously or unconsciously hurt somebody, and they feel that, okay, we are taking so many sessions, we have forgiven that person. Okay. But actually, it doesn't happen that way. So forgiveness happens if you are remembering those bitter parts of your life, but you don't feel any bitterness to that person or that situation. That is when the forgiveness begins. But what happens is we don't do that. It is very difficult for us to forgive. So these patterns keep repeating. That is what he's trying to tell us, because every day we have to work on these patterns. Sometimes I fall into the trap of these patterns again. For example, letting go trap. Sometimes I fall into that, and the angels then give me a situation in which I have to learn that again. So I have to break that pattern again. And once that pattern is broken, then everything, whatever that we are facing, it starts fading away when we have actually, you can say, broken that core belief or the pattern that is in there subconsciously within us. So people who feel that they have forgiven, probably they might not have forgiven. And that is the reason why such people keep turning up in their lives, because they have still not forgiven the hurt. They still are bitter from inside for that person. So that is the pattern that we have to keep repeating. That's why I say that for me, my life is like a daily learning process. Every day I'm learning something from the angels, every day from the everyday situations. And I have to consciously take decisions as far as my actions are concerned, my deeds or my words are concerned, because I know if I don't do that, I will again fall into that pattern. So every day I have to work on myself. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meena. Thank you so much. Yes, Madhugaru, I'm so happy to see you.
Hey Sharoo,
Hey.
thanks to Rajshekhar and thanks to you for bringing up this topic. It's really wonderful to know. I've never heard this before, and it's really great to know more about it, understand more about it. And regarding Amita's question about passing over sudden deaths, and the way you have said, Sharoo, about the intuition, how they feel just few days before when they vacate their body. It happened with my uncle as well, my maternal uncle, my mother's brother. So he met with an accident, but a few days before, he came to our home and he was telling to my mom, on this day I have to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere, And my mom was not having any clue because he was not knowing which place he has to go, but he was just telling that I have to go somewhere. Something is happening on that day. He just gave a hint. And when this accident happened, we had no clue that it was him, because it happened all of a sudden. And he easily vacated his body. There was no much pain. The only thing that he did is he paid his gratitude to his mother. As a solely he came there. He came to his mother, and he touched her feet, because my grandmom, she felt that something is happening, and she know that something is not right. And after some time, she gets a call that her son had passed over. So that's regarding this intuition. And the other point that was also raised about, sometimes souls when they are vacating also, when they know it also, they won't tell, because if they tell, we grieve and we try to hold them. So all the souls, for me, I feel that all the souls are very they come with all these knowing. It's just that, like, they work according to that situation. Sometimes if we are very sensitive, and if we love that person, and we are not spiritually strong, so it is very difficult for us to let go of that person. So we hold them. That's why if they know also, they don't try to tell. They keep it to themselves. This is what I felt, Charu. So I thought of telling this, and yes, these topics are very interesting, and it's the more we go deeper into it, the more we understand more about death, and life between lives, and like pre-birth planning, and everything is planned before we come on this earth plane. Everything, may it be the accident also, the accident that happened to my uncle also, it is planned. Because if it is not planned, how will he get to know that he's leaving, he's going somewhere? So I thank you again, Charu, for this wonderful sharing, and I'm so happy to hear all these. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Rajshekar.
much. Thank you. Thank you, Madhugaru, for your insights. Yes, you're absolutely right. These points are very, very important. And as I said, that when I talk about the energies also, they work differently in different people. Similarly, when we are dying, the dying or death process is also very different with different people. Some people get the intuition, some people don't get the intuition. And some people, like Madhugaru said, that some people do get the intuition, but they don't want to tell other people, so that they should not grieve. So thank you so much for your insights, Madhugaru. Thank you so much. Yes, Pratap ji.
Namaste, Sharuji.
Namaste, Pratap ji.
Nice session. You said Panchavayus. I mean, all the gurus, all the masters, highly intellectual in this field, attained mastery over the five senses. Will there be no death in these people? Or are there any persons in the world with no death?
No death. Everybody has, as we talked about the enlightenment and no death, there is no death as, per se. But if you're talking about the physical, what happens is, if you read more and more about the Tibetan monks, we would see that even if it's been thousands of years, that they have died, but still their energies can be felt at that very place where they used to meditate. So for them, it is no death, even physically, energetically, there is no death as such. If we talk about these monks or the sages or the saints, so I would say that yes, there is no death. There is no death physically also, and otherwise also. There is no death. If we want to, we can actually activate these energies in such a way that that we can also be here. Our energies can still lie here, even if we have gone to the other dimension.
What I mean to say is the physical body with the energies in situ.
Physical body, yes. As I said, that the monks that are there, for some time, it will not decay, for maybe depending upon how much Vyana Vayu or Vyana Prana they are just putting into that body. So it might take for years for them to decay. Like I gave the example of the Giza pyramid where the mummies are kept. Yes, the chemical things are also added into that, but there are certain things that also which cannot be spiritually explained also, which are also there. That is why these mummies are still they are being preserved. The bodies are still preserved.
One more question. So it's like one of the YouTube channels, PSSM, one of the masters, senior masters, he said that he has been to the Himalayas and he feels that Lord Hanuman is still there.
The energy is still there. So yeah, okay. So if you go to Mansarovar, that is in again the Himalayas. If you go to this Mansarovar lake and if you travel that area where the Lord Shiva's energies are there, then you might feel Lord Shiva's energies there, because Lord Shiva has, Adi Yogi has meditated for thousands of years over there. So the energies are there. Basically, it's the presence of the energy that you feel, the angels, the light beings. If you go through the documentaries of the Mansarovar, you will feel, how people are explaining the presence of the spiritual and the divine beings there. They see the angels, they feel the presence or the energy. So it is all energy and the vibration. So if we start, that's what I said, that if we start activating the pranas on that level, we have the capability to do that also. I mean, the energies can be felt. Like he felt the energies of Hanumanji in that particular area.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sharuji. Once again, a very enlightening session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pratapji. Thank you so much. Bhavna ji, I'm so glad you came here. Thank you so much.
Hello, Sharuji. Hello, everybody. Very nice. Such an enlightenment. So much depth. Let's put it this way. But I have to understand it more. It's so much there. But one question, Earthbound, I probably missed out on that end, if you can explain me. And my brother and my sister-in-law, they are in Kenya. They were in Kenya, rather, elder to me. They, like you, Madhuji just said that I'm going to go somewhere. My brother, because we had a garage, and he was saying that I'm going on day after tomorrow somewhere. And he usually used to go by himself. And on that particular day, he said, I'm going. And his wife, my sister-in-law, says, I am also want to come with you. So he said, quickly get ready. I'm just going to the temple, do Pagelag, and then come back. So in that meantime, you come. So both of them went, and he was only 35. Both of them were very young. And they went, both of them went, leaving two girls behind them. Only two. One was 1 year old, 2 year, and the other was about 3 to 4 years. Both of them passed away in a severe accident. Both of them went. But like he was saying that I'm going somewhere, similarly. And this is what says that the soul probably knew that he was going to go somewhere, but both of them wanted to go together. And his wife said that, I want to come with you. And then my mother-in-law last year, rather during COVID, when she was in the hospital and all that. And the last minute when she wouldn't go, her soul wouldn't just want to leave her body. And I don't know, something came in my mind. The whole family, we were sat together. She just didn't want to leave. The soul didn't want to leave at all. And something came in my mind that there's something she wants, because we couldn't see her, or nobody could meet her at that time. So the three children, that's my husband, his brother, elder brother, and his the sister. There were three there. So some sort of intuition came into my mind that I think that because she loved her children so totally. And so I told my mother-in-law, Mom, don't worry. All three children are holding their hands, and they will be together forever whenever they're needed. As soon as I said, and I told that all three children to say that in front, sort of circuit here. That moment she went. So it's like that feeling, that emotion that they cannot be met at the last moment, and the words that they need to hear.
Absolutely. Yes.
And we couldn't, during COVID, we couldn't go or see her, anything. And and my brother and sister, my sister-in-law, they're leaving two children together. And imagine just when Madhugaru just said that somewhere do I. It's but I want to understand about the earthbound situation. I didn't probably understand it? If you could just put a bit of a light on that, please.
That's what Bhavnaji, I said that, as far as the souls are concerned, it can absolutely, it's different with different souls. When is the right time for them to leave? It is absolutely their choice. And trust me, the way, when we take birth here, it is painful. Again, a painful journey for us to take birth, and leaving also is like a painful journey, because it is not very easy for us to leave our physical body, because we have been in this physical body for years together, and we get attached to the physical body and we cannot leave. As far as your relatives are concerned, they had decided that already in their pre-birth planning, and they knew it already. They intuitively, they had known that, okay, fine, this is something, I'm going to go now. That's what I said. Some people are intuitively, they are awakened, and that is how they get to know that. But Bhavnaji, it is not only in the humans, it is in the animals as well. So recently, when my brother's pet died, she was just, I think, 1 month old. So she did not die till my sister-in-law, my bhabi, she went to the hospital and she held her hand. She was waiting for her to come. She was waiting her to say, I love you, Nix. And when she said that, she left her body. Till that time, she was struggling.
I have gone through that also. My dog, same thing happened.
So it is not just in the humans, but it is also in the animals. That is why we say that we have to respect all these beings also, all the beings on this earth. So the souls, every soul has a different lesson. Every soul has a different question paper that they have to solve, and every soul has a different way of leaving the body. It all depends upon them, what they have decided. So we cannot interfere into that at all. Nobody can. Even the angels cannot interfere. They don't.
No. Right. No, because I didn't understand. Yeah, that's why. So I thought, let's put a bit of a light on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too, Bhavnaji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mridula ji, please.
Good morning, Sharoo.
Good morning. I'm so happy to see you here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's 3:00 in the morning. I actually just got up suddenly, and I realized that you're still on. So, because I think it started at 2 a.m. for me. I was trying to get, but anyway, I wanted to share. I missed most of it, but I thought I'd share these two things. Long time ago, when I was doing my residency, this was like in the mid 90s. When I was on call, I experienced some strange things. There's so many things we think we know, but many, many things we really don't know, but our soul knows. And I didn't know those days. I was young and I was training, I thought I knew the science well. But one day when there was a patient that was in renal failure. So the family, the wife was always by his side. He was we have, different steps in the hospital. You have the ICU, you have the step down, you have it's called the floor bed where there's no monitoring. So he was there with his wife, who was always at his side, and he was always in a deep state, somewhat semi-comatose. We're waiting for hospice for him. Can you believe I remember so many details after this many years? So one day I was on call and I thought I saw him like talking to his wife, but I was so busy on call. And, I thought, how is this man talking? But I just dismissed it, And so the next day I came, they asked me to pronounce him. He had passed away. So I looked at his wife and I was telling her, I'm so sorry, He said, it's okay, because she said, it's okay because all night he talked to me. I said, he talked to you? She said, yes, he talked to me. And I have closure. I'm at peace and it's okay. So I thought he was talking to you. I saw him get up and, move. I saw him I know you were having a conversation, but I told her that I thought, I'm imagining. So that was kind of strange for me. And then the one other time I remember I was in the ICU in a different hospital. And this lady, she had a bleed in her head, and she was also, in the ICU. She wasn't able to talk, but after a few days, she was able to write, write whatever small things she needed or whatever. She wrote, call my son, to me. So I thought, that's, strange. But anyway, I called the son and I said, your mom, is sick, and I don't know, she wanted you to come, but I really think you need to come now. And he said, really? Because it was so sudden, her stroke, everything, her bleed. So some of the family didn't know. So we also didn't know she wrote his number. And so I told him, you need to come right away. He said he wasn't even in town. I said, I don't know, take the next flight and come. Because I've never seen this. Somebody writing, call my son with the phone number. And again, same thing. They were able to write to each other, but soon after she saw him, she passed. And it's just so strange, both of these, cases. They told their closest person they wanted to, and they gave them closure. And, I just thought, oh my gosh, the son thanked me to no end. Even that lady, I said, I don't know why you're thanking me. I didn't do anything, but just I wanted to share that. And the same thing happened with my grandmother. I'm so close to her. I felt her when she passed. I knew. I heard she was sick. I heard, she was in her 90s. I told my mother, and I told, even before they heard. So, yeah, I think there's so much we know, but there's so much we don't know. Yeah. So just wanted to share these. But
Thank
those
you.
two people in the hospital, I mean, there are many, many I can share with you, but those two, I just felt like they were so shocking to me. Yeah. I was in my first year of residency, training, and I just couldn't, I still remember the sons and their faces. After all, it's been more, it's been 25 years. So I really, I hope this is recorded. I don't know. I want to listen in later, but I just wanted to share, Sharoo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mradulaji. And what you said was, I want to add on one thing more over here. When you are saying that, when a loved one is on the bed and the relatives also get to know, like you got to know, you're feeling that, right? You're feeling at that time that your grandmother is on the bed and she's going to vacate the body. So it is because of the positive chords that we have created with our loved ones. That is how, even if the person who is miles away from us, but still because of that positive chord that we have created with that person, that we are able to understand and know that what the other person is going through. So we telepathically also can communicate. So all the things are there within us. The only thing is that they are dormant within us, and we just need to activate them. That is all. Because telepathy is something that is there from the beginning itself, since the day we are born. When we are babies, we telepathically communicate with our parents when we are babies. But slowly and gradually, this ability just sheens away because we do not try to, enhance that or heighten that. But whenever we want to, we can do that. And that is how, because we have created that chord with that particular person, you created it with your grandmother. And that is the reason why you got to know and how you got to know that feeling that she is not being keeping up well. I've got so many calls after the sessions on enlightenment or no death, which was being conducted by Madhu Garu, that the people were saying that how do we get to know that that the person has had an accident or a dream has come. It is all because of these coding that we have. So that is why I took the session on the chords as well, so that everybody understands what are the positive and what are the not negative chords. So we in our lifetimes, we create a lot of positive chords, and that is the reason why we get to know why. That's the reason why we feel so connected with some people, because we have connected with them through the chords. So that is the reason. That's what I wanted to add. That is
So,
how you got to know.
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My grandmother was in India.
That's
so
what
I wanted to share.
Yeah.
I feel so strongly that this is her time. And I told my parents, you need to go there. If you can go there now, because this is it. And my mother was saying, why are you scaring me? Like, I said, no, I'm not scaring you. I'm trying to give you heads up, But it was, I was not in India. I was here in Minnesota. So thank you, Sharoo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mridulaji. Thank you so very much. And Archana has written one thing which I want to tell everybody. I think everybody can read that in Autobiography of a Yogi, in the last chapter, they mentioned there was no sign of physical decay or disintegration even after 20 days of death of Swami Paramahansa Yogananda. And so this is also very amazing. I mean, if you go through that book also, you'll get to know that how we can activate these pranas and how we can actually activate and control these pranas as well through meditation. So, Kula sir, yes. Thank you for coming here. Thank you so much.
Hi, Saraji. It was a wonderful session. I never heard this information before, and thank you for sharing this information.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always follow your angel session, and there's another wonderful session. Thank you so much. Just one little question. Probably I know the answer. You said that the energy actually leave the body. I believe this energy actually reconnect with the soul, and when the soul come back, taking a rebirth, will it have the same level of energy which was in the last physical body? That is my question.
So we will, the soul will always have the imprints of the energy, not the absolute energy. The same energy is not going to pass on to the soul, but the imprints of the energies are going to be there. So means small little imprints. For example, if somebody dies with lot of trauma inside, so that energy, those imprints of that traumatic energy is going to be there. If the soul leaves happily, then the happy imprints of the energy they're going to go with the soul. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kulasa. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharoo, one last.
Yes. Yes, Bhavnaji.
It's me again. So does it mean, you just said, I think Mridulaji was saying the connections. So does it mean, like, okay, I haven't met you, I haven't met Motherji, but that feeling or that concept of that love, does it mean that we were, there's some sort of a connection or somewhere? Because I haven't met you, but the way the feeling of as if you, it's such a love that I feel that it's so much given to us. So does that mean there's a connection there somewhere along the lines? Or?
Bhavnaji, you've already connected with us, to me, to Madhu Garu. So you have already created that positive chord, and that chord is always going to be there. The only thing is that the chord gets more, strengthens when the love is from both the sides. For example, if I feel the same for you and you're feeling the same with me, so that love energy is into that chord completely, and that is more strengthening it. But if the if the love energy is more with you and less with me, the positive chord is still going to be there, but it is not going to strengthen, not much. So if I want, I can strengthen that chord by giving more love energy to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you do that, please?
Yeah, of course I'll do that. Don't worry. Thank you. Thank you, Bhavnaji. Thank you so much.
That's what I want to clarify. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, Lakshmi ji. Yes.
Hello, Sharoo.
Thank you.
always
Yes,
nice
coming.
to-
Yes, I'm really thankful for you to be coming here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharoo. And I love to, be as a part of this Beam group. Madhugariji. Yeah. As you went through this session, I realize I've always known death at a very young age. And yeah, every time it has taught me different lessons. And one, sharing that all experience, probably I can put it in words somewhere sometime. The time I feel because of that. The question I had, little bit of clarity I wanted is that something like, like I saw one of my grandfather, at a very late stage, maybe 90 plus. But just before that, somewhere around 70, when he has, actually finished all his work in his life, probably, I think so. But we lost him like in a sudden cardiac arrest, and at home my father revived him back by CPR, mouth to mouth respiration, and then we got him back, and after that he stayed almost 22 years, right? And the other end, I have always seen my friends, my other family members, very recently, just 15 days before, we lost a very young family member, 48 years, not more than 50. I have never seen any deaths after that, not much. Or either it is 90, that is my grandparents. So what I wish to know is that if a soul, because this is such a young soul, they're leaving their body, all pre-birth plan, I understand. Is there a choice that the soul makes, because I see my grandfather leaving at a late stage, but he still comes back in his body when he is left cardiac arrest. I can, just now Mrudula ma'am just mentioned all that. That's where it stuck to me. Do they make a choice of coming back, though their body, one end I see the young body, but the soul leaves, and other end the body is so old, but the soul comes back again, so is there that choice, although they have made a pre-birth plan, I understand, is there at that point, at that junction, also the will of the soul to change and come back to their own people?
During the time of death you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my understanding absolutely, that there are 4 exit points that we always get where we can leave the body. So it all depends upon us, whether we have done the work that we have come here to do. So if the soul decides that this is the time for me to leave, they will leave. For example, so this I mentioned this in my enlightenment on no death sessions also, that I was working with a child. Not the child, he was in his teenage. So he was 15, 16 years old when he had a very bad accident. So he fell off from the roof that was on the 5th, floor, and he just was crippled completely. So when he was that time in the hospital, so that was the time either he could leave his physical body, or he could be there in the physical body and then work on his karmas and then take up this challenge. Now, it all depended upon the soul. So for some time, he was in a coma. And in that coma, he was deciding and discussing it with the angels, what is to be done next. So should I come or should I go? So that was the time when he decided that, no, I will accelerate my process of evolution and I'm going to take up this challenge, even if I'm crippled and I'm paralyzed from the chest area onwards, I'm going to come. And then that was the time when the help was being provided to him through me. I became the medium because the angels told me that it is my job for him to get the treatment and to get him working. So it was through meditation that he was able to start healing himself. But in during that 2 years challenge which he took, the life was really was throwing a curveballs to him. But it was his decision whether he wanted to come back or not, and he took a decision and took a challenge of coming back. Otherwise he could have exited the body and he could have taken the birth somewhere else. So yeah, it absolutely depends upon us whether we want to come back or not, because some souls, they do come back, even if they have stopped breathing. You might have seen, and there's so many documentaries available which tell that even if they have left the body, they still come back. They feel that no, this is not the time yet, so I have to come back. So sometimes it has these incidents have also happened.
Yeah, thank you. It makes a lot of clarity in understanding. Yeah, it's a very hard topic, a lot of understanding, but yeah, as a meditator, sort of a difference in acceptance of the situation in life, and a lot of learning. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you Lakshmi. Thank you. Mridulaji, you want to say something?
Oh, yes, I wanted to add one more thing. So, Sharoo, during that time with my grandmother, I was a resident then. So I was in my first year. I couldn't get time off to go, even though I know she's not going to be with in this world much longer. And I told my parents to go. I couldn't go. And my mom was kind of upset that I'm not able to go. But Sharoo, I had peace. I didn't feel I didn't feel the need to physically be there because I was feeling her presence inside me. And her love, I still feel even today. So I don't feel the disconnect from her. I know that's what I'm saying. There's so many things we know, even if we learn science, but there's so many things we don't know. I did not feel like I missed something by not being there physically in India at the time of passing and going through the rituals. And my mother especially my mother couldn't, but my grandmother raised me for the first 6 years of my life. In a sense, my parents were barely with me. My grandmother was my mother in a way. So, and her love for me, she has so many grandchildren, and they all felt like I was her favorite. And probably I was, but that love, the Bhavnaji mentioning, there's this, like you're saying, the cord. When you have that love energy, it just is an energy, Sharoo. Nobody needs to tell you in words, honestly. They show by their actions, and the energy is there. The same energy, when she's leaving me, she consoled me with that energy. She hugged me with that. I don't know how to even describe it words. I can only say hugged, console. I did not feel the loss. Can you believe it? I still don't feel the loss to this day. I still feel connected to her. I still feel her energy. I still feel her love. And she's the only person on this planet today, till today, I feel that way. That kind of, it's beyond universal love. It's just beyond. I don't have words. I don't have expression. So I just wanted to mention, I think I didn't know about the positive chords either until, one of our Beam family members mentioned, and you had asked her to write it, because we only hear about all the negative chords, how to, but there's this beautiful, beautiful chord that we have with the people. And I don't know if she was something in my past lives, but I just want to share that I did not feel, I still don't feel the loss, Sharoo. I don't feel she's with me. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, Absolutely true, Mridulaji. But one thing is there that, you were able to feel not the absence of your, with your mother-in-law. It was because you had that understanding, and you also knew that what the energies are. But the person, a common man who does not have this information, the information of these chords, the information of these energies, that person is probably going to feel very guilty. They remain in that guilt that, oh God, I was not able to be with my loved one, and they feel that till they die. So it is very important, for them also, for us who know and who are aware of this knowledge, to give this knowledge and share this knowledge to everybody so that they come out of it. We can do that because today we have that wisdom and knowledge to do that. You could do that because now you know that everything is energy, everything is vibration. You can be with somebody through the energy, through the chords. But there are so many people who do not know. They are in such a bad state when they leave their loved ones. They leave their loved ones without seeing them. So yes, the chord session is there, whereby I have specifically talked about the positive chords, that what are the positive chords that we make and what are the negative chords that we make. So I have completely described that in that particular session that I took, Mridulaji. So
yes, but the time that it happened, I didn't know about the chord until now. I'm getting to be understanding. My grandmother, I didn't understand why I didn't feel, my mother kept saying, how come you're not feeling, you're not feeling the loss? I said, because I don't feel the loss.
Yes.
I feel her with me. And I didn't know about energy. I didn't know meditation. I didn't know chords. I'm learning now, this again is 25 years ago, why I didn't feel those things. I didn't feel the loss. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel anything. I just felt complete peace. That's all, so I wanted to share. But just so much learning.
Thank you.
So
yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mridulaji. Thank you so very much, all of you. So Preeti ji, I do have my YouTube channel, but I no longer put anything in my YouTube because I am very much connected with the Beam Meditation family. And they are, the Madhu Garu and the Ram Garu, they are the ones who are taking care of the Beam Meditation. So they always put my sessions on their YouTube channel, that is the Beam Meditation. Every Friday I take the session, and every day the sessions are happening in that family. So if you want to join that the family, you can just subscribe the channel, that is the Beam Meditation. So you will be able to know about all the sessions that are happening there also. So that is what you wanted to know about my future sessions. So you will be able to know about my future sessions there in the Beam Meditation. So you can subscribe that. And Jyoti ji, how doctors predict that people whom they are treating is going to die? Doctors, they do not predict. It's like, they have the reports, the physiology, they understand, and that is how they get to know. So I think, Mridulaji, you will be able to answer this question, because they are saying that how do doctors predict that the person is going to die in a few days, since you are a doctor. So if you can just throw some light on that, I'd be grateful.
Doctors cannot predict anything, Sharoo.
Yeah, that's what I said. The doctors cannot predict anything. It's just that
I have many doctors in my family. My aunt, who passed on now, she was a gynecologist in India. There are two things. We went to the moon, but we cannot predict the exact time of birth. We cannot predict the exact time of death. We know someone's going to probably not make it because of if they have the disease enough, where we put them in hospice, or we say these are the end stages. But the exact time of death, we don't know. Even that guy in renal failure, we were getting ready to go to hospice. I had no idea that he would have clarity and talk to his wife the night before and give both of them have closure to each other. That's not supposed to happen. Or the lady with the stroke, telling me to call her son. and dying the next day. That's not supposed to happen. I had no idea. I mean, I'm learning now why I felt how I felt, why that happened 25 years later. We don't know. And I called, when you're an intern, they call you to pronounce, it's such a hard feeling for someone who I didn't have much spirituality. I didn't have much knowledge that time. I had to go pronounce the people, their death time. I had to be the one to write their death time. I had no idea. The nurse would call me and we would go. So no, we don't know. And we also don't know when the baby, the gynecologist would say, we predict this is about the time, but the exact time the baby is born, no idea. She said, I don't know. When they come out, they come out. And then we record the time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mridulaji. Thank you so very much for giving this answer. So,
Can I add
yes.
something to this, Saruji?
Ji.
Yeah, in fact, even after the death, I think so, the monitors shows all that nil, BP, whatever. Even after that, it takes almost an hour, that flat line, what we say. Even after that, an hour, the body is left even before pronouncing a person as a dead. I said, why is this done? No one knows an answer to it. But this is how the protocol of the ICU or CCU works like, even the flat line is shown, it is not immediately told to, family members as, pronounced as a death. It is that hour later, it is told.
Yeah, that's what, when I talked about the prana. So it is because of the prana, that is because of the energy that slowly, gradually recedes. Then only they can declare somebody dead.
So there I feel, that
Lakshmi, we don't wait an hour. When the flat line happens, we give 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes, yes.
Yeah,
because I saw the death of my dad. Yeah.
I don't know, ma'am. Maybe
we can't wait an hour.
Local protocol of each.
The flat line happens, we turn the monitors off immediately, and then we pronounce within a few minutes.
Declare dead, yes.
I have no idea, ma'am, but this is how I think so the local protocol may change from each hospital to hospital. Could be one thing. Yeah. But
no,
yeah,
Lakshmi,
whatever.
same.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Interesting. Okay. Anybody, any other question, or should we just say bye? Rajshekar sir, are you there?
Yes, madam. Still live. I'm not dead. So there is one question left. Archanaji left, but she asked, in such a baffling situation, how can one meditate? If you can add up.
In which baffling situation? What sort of a situation?
Earlier we were talking before starting questions, when a dead body and somebody is passed away and family members do cry, rather than that, weeping and all. So you suggested to meditate around.
Yes.
Right? So because their emotions are so high, how can they meditate is what she's asking about.
Yeah, because see, the thing is that you have to create that energy around you. It is absolutely your choice whether you want to meditate or you want to grieve. I'm not saying that we don't grieve. Grieving is also a very important process that we have to go through when somebody goes from us. But rather than that, if we choose that we have to hold the hand of that soul, the loved one's soul, at that time when the person is going, that will give us more satisfaction. That will give us more peace. We'll be at peace that we helped that soul for the easy transition, rather than grieving and doing nothing about it. So it will give us a lot of satisfaction, and we'll be at peace inside that, yes, we helped that person at the last moment also for the easy transition of his soul. So this is absolutely our choice, whether we can do that or whether we don't want to do that. So it depends upon us.
Yeah, and connected to the same point, we need to celebrate death also, right? So That's what spiritual people suggest. So would that help them as well? Like after doing meditation, do that? I know it is new to the humanity in these eras, but is that also happening? So what do you say about it?
I think slowly and gradually, the things are changing and the things are happening, because people who do not have the understanding of this, people who do not meditate, if all of a sudden, if we go there and barge in and tell them that let's celebrate death, they will not be able to accept it. So slowly and gradually, this understanding has to reach to them. Slowly and gradually, they have been told. For example, when my father passed, so I had to tell my mother that please do not grieve so much. I was giving her this understanding, and that is how we started celebrating the death of my father. My brother was able to accept his death, and we celebrated his death, because his death actually happens to fall on his birthday. He was born on 1st January, he died on 1st January. So it was like we celebrated. So if we randomly go to some place where this understanding is not there, you probably will not be accepted. So slowly and gradually, we have to give this understanding, and then this change will start coming in each and every family or the household.
Okay. Thank you so much. And one more point I would like to add. So there is a from Michael Newton book, The Life After Death, Part 1. It is said that the souls who has passed away will, there is a high chance that they may take the birth in the same family tree. So he talks about family trees, right? So earlier somebody asked questions, I just want to resonate. Why do we take same family trees? There is a lessons to be learned in the same family. Until we take that lesson, we keep on returning to the same branches. So as Sharuji mentioned, it's necessary, friends, do meditation and enlighten in every area, and keep on moving on, keep forgiving, loving people around, and understand the groups, spiritual groups. So PMF or PSSM UK, we are one of the groups, like many other groups. So and we are here to understand, expand the knowledge, wisdom lights, and by connecting to Sangha, we are actually developing our abilities, and we are coming out of those patterns. So thanks for today, everybody, sharing your wisdom, experiences, and by understanding your experience, we transform, right? And this video recording available in PSSM PMC UK online channel. So many people are asking for a recording, especially from US. I'll be sharing that. Kindly do watch, like, and subscribe, and spread the message. And thank you so much, Sharoo Master, and the angels who has guided you. And so we are so happy that this is connecting to throughout UK. People around here are really watching this channel, and if you don't have time, I usually put it in a watch later list, and I just watch. A lot of list is there, so people are doing that. I'm so grateful. And with your final message, we will conclude.
So my final message is always, it's like, meditate and be joyful in your life. Do not think, do not overthink. That is all I can say, because do not just keep your, thought doors open. Just be with the flow, go with the flow. And as far as the death is concerned, whenever it has to come, it has to come. Accept it. The only thing is that keep yourself so strong and keep yourself so loving that when you die, the people are going to, remember you with lovely thoughts. So just try to be conscious of your deeds, your actions, and your words. That is all you have to do. And this is what my message would be for everyone. So thank you so very much, Rajshekhar sir, for giving me this opportunity to be on this beautiful platform. So shukriya, dhanyavad. Thank you so very much to each one of you who have been listening to me. And thank you, angels, of course, because they were the ones who told me to take this session, as I told you about the story. So thank you so much. Shukriya, everyone. Shukriya. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, friends, I'm ending the session today. We'll catch up again later. So we have another meeting on this line, so we will keep it open, Sharoo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.